Today's video, we have Horses Gone Wild. All right, let's do it. Hello everyone, this is Chris O'Hara back for another tutorial. We got the wild horses today. This is a request from a friend of mine, Rick, out in Utah. This one's for you. So this is a part one of two different parts. And this first one, we're going to get very basic, kind of an easy first tutorial on this song. We're going to cover all the basic chords and the form of the song and just a simple strum pattern. This is, like I said, a good way to get your feet wet with it. Second part, we're going to get much more detailed in the strum patterns and some other little bits and pieces that's going to make this song sound a lot better. So what I want to point out though is that there are many guitars in this track here. There's at least three that I can hear. There may even be another one that I'm missing, but I can distinctly hear three different guitar parts. There's one that's tuned to Nashville tuning, there's one that's tuned to open G tuning, and there's a lead electric guitar part that sounds like it's in standard tuning, but I'm not entirely sure, but you can probably find that information somewhere on the internet. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to do in standard tuning, normal tuning, and we're going to I'm going to try to combine the best bits of each one. At least in part two, I'm going to cover more of that. Like I said, part one is just a simplified version to get you kind of going with this. Now, these are both part one and part two, just like some of my other lessons. These are full-length lessons where you need to grab your guitar, you're going to play along with me, and we're going to go through each measure and each section of the song so you can learn it, okay? So let's get started with part one.
All right, so let's just start with the chords of this song. So let's start right with the G chord. So there's a lot of ways to play a G chord. So one I'm going to use is this one right here with the third finger on the bottom. Nice and simple G, you probably already know that one. Now another way we're going to play a G chord in this song is this way. And the reason why is because we want to grab this G sus 4. So when I play a G chord like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute that string right there, that fifth string, and that's about it. And I'm going to strum them all. So I can add this finger, I'm just adding this first finger here to get the G sus chord. All right, so we have two ways to play the G in this song. That first way here, and then this way, and then the G sus chord, just like that. Pretty simple. Next chord, A minor. Probably already know that one. Very simple. You can see it like that. Next chord is going to be B minor. Everyone always struggles with this chord. I know it's a tough chord. Here's a couple little tips on this. What you can do is make sure you're not getting on top of that fret like this. Make sure you're behind it, okay? Because sometimes I see people pushing on it and they're kind of getting this kind of dead note, and a lot of times it's because they're on it. You really need to separate those fingers. Get that first finger separated a little bit. Sometimes I even kind of roll on the side of this finger here as opposed to really flat against here. That gives me a little bit more to the bone in a way. So I kind of get my elbow just in a little bit. You don't want to go too much. You don't want to tweak it. Still make it comfortable and relaxed. Use that muscle. You want to use this muscle right in here in this part of the hand, all right? Just like that. If you can't bar it all the way to that first string, what you want to do is just play this note right here. Don't worry about hitting that first string, but you do kind of want to mute it, because if you leave it open, it's a different type of B minor chord. So just FYI on that. So make sure that you mute this one if you can't get that full bar there. Another thing that you can try is to move that finger up and down like this. And the reason why is because a lot of times the string kind of gets caught in the joints of this finger right in here, okay? So just kind of move it up and down so that maybe the string's not in that crease, and that should help. Again, these are just subtle things, and majority of what's going to make this chord happen is to practice, get that strength in that hand to be able to play that. But again, make sure you're not on top, and then adjust it slightly up and down. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got the C chord. Very traditional C chord. This one you probably already know. Just like that. And then we have a D. Just a standard D. Nothing special about that chord there. And then we have an F chord. And it looks a lot like that B minor chord. The difference is the strings that it's located on. Here's our B minor again. Here's our F. You can see we moved these fingers over. F is tough too because of the location. It's close to this nut right here. You really have to squeeze down and get that chord to, or the strings down to push down and make sure it seals off. A lot of tension in this area of this guitar here. These type of bar chords, excuse me, are generally a little bit easier to play in the middle of the guitar because there's less string tension right in here. So FYI on that, that's a hard spot to play that bar chord. All right, let's keep moving along. What else we got in this song? Looks like that's about it. Oh, we do have a D sus2. I forgot about that guy. And I'll explain when I get to that point why we're going to play that particular chord. You can generally get away with a D chord, but it's going to be nice to actually throw that in this one little spot on the song. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look at this. This is this sheet here. You may want to take a screenshot of this, and I'll try to get this up on my website too. But this is a very general overview of how the song goes, just the sections basically. It's not it doesn't give us the song form, which would be like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, that kind of thing. This is just the three main sections of the song: the intro, the verse, and the chorus. So, and you can see this is what we call slash notation. Slash notation is just telling you how many beats are per measure, and it's also telling us that we need to improvise in those measures, to improvise in the sense of the rhythm. As long as it's adding up to four beats, then we're good, okay? But for simplicity, we're going to just strum each chord 4 times. A couple of chords are going to come in on beat 3 and beat 4. So that's what how you want to treat this. Whatever slash that chord is over, that number within that measure is where you want to strum it. An example would be, let's see, take a look at that second line in the verse. The G chord where it goes G, G sus4, and G. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a G on beats 1 and 2. And this is where I would use this version because we got to go to the G sus4. So we would go like this. G on the first 2 beats, and then a G sus4 on beat 3, and then a G on beat 4. So that measure sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So those chords are supposed to line up with the correct point in that measure. All right, but let's go back to the beginning. Let's play through this. Let's warm up on the G to the A minor. Okay, so this section here repeats twice. So we go for the intro, we're going to go G, A minor, G, A minor, and then we play G chord for a measure, and then we get into the verse, okay? So here we go. Let's repeat the G and the A minor 4 times per chord. Very simple. Count and tap your foot if you can, right along. Here we go. I'll give us 2 beats, 3, 4 on a G. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. 2, 3, 4. G. 2, 3, 4. A minor. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Do a couple of times. 4 and 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. A little good warm up on that. Now let's go on to the verse. But before we get into the verse, there's that one measure of G that we got to play. 3, 4 before we hit the B minor on the first part of the verse. Okay. So now let's start on that B minor. And it's a tough transition to play that G into the B minor. B minor is always hard to grab. So what you may want to try in your practice routine is just to kind of work those 2 chords like this. Just back and forth, trying to nail each one of those chords as perfect as you can, okay? So let's start on that verse. We're going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 to a G. Go nice and slow when you work on these tunes. So 2 strums on that, and whoops, I wanted to use this one, right? Because we wanted to go to that sus4, all right? Let's back up and start on that B minor. 2, strum along with me, 3, 4, and then we're gonna go to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to B minor. And that's a good little loop. Let's do that. 3, 4, back to that G. 1, 2, adding that 4th finger for the sus, back to the, lifting that up for the regular G, back to B minor again. See, I gotta get my 1st finger over there a little bit. Back to the G, and we go 1, 2, and then add it, 3, lift, back to B minor, 2, 3, oops, 4, and I gotta work on this, 2, 3, 4, back to B minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to the G, 2, 3, 4, and B minor. Now, if this is hard to grab for you, I had a student the other day that was having a hard time grabbing this with these 2 fingers. You can just play a G through that. So if that's throwing you off, just go ahead and play a G through that. All right, so that repeats twice in that first line of the verse. We go B minor, G, we add that G sus4, G, B minor, then we go back to that G, G sus4, G. All right, next line of that verse, we go into that A minor chord, 2, 3, 4, then we go to a C chord, 1, 2, 3, and then on beat 4 we go to a D, just like that, back to that G, this shape here, because we want to grab that G sus4 on beat 3 like we did before, back, and then it goes to a D, and then we go to a D sus, back to a D, and we go to a C. So starting from that A minor, play it with me nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, not so bad, huh? And again, you would go, now this repeats back to the verse, beginning of the verse. So the verse is really twice through most of that things, for most of those things, those chords. And so this is what we call a first ending. So the first ending is, it's not really, the song's not really ending, it's just the ending of this verse section here. So what we want to do is after we repeat to the beginning of that verse again, we could play all the way down. Instead of playing that first ending part marked by that 1, we skip over that and go to 2, which is the D chord for 1 full measure. And that's going to lead us into the chorus, which is starting on A minor 2, 3, 4, and then we go to a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, to a G, and you can use this G, 2, and here's our F. Now, I forgot to mention this. If this F bar chord is really tricky for you, you could get away with just using this version, which is barred here, this finger, and then this finger here. But you got to be careful to mute this one with this 3rd finger, and you may even use your thumb to mute this top string. But doing all that can sometimes be even more difficult than just grabbing the whole thing. So, choice is yours. I'm using this one. So after that F, we go to a C, 1, 2, 3, and this is tricky because we got to go to a B minor on beat 4, and then it's going to repeat back to the A minor beginning of that chorus. So let's do that line. We'll go real slow. So grab that A minor. Here we go. I'll give us 2 beats. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. 1, 2, 3 to a D, 4 to a G, 1, 2 to an F, to a C, 1, 2, 3, quick B minor, back to the A minor, 1, 2, 3, 4 to a C, 2, 3 to a D, to an F, sorry, G to an F, 2 to a C, And this is the second ending. 3, 4. Sorry, I messed you up, but you should have known that. You're looking at the music, right? Here we go. Let's try that again, starting from the beginning of the verse, and I'll try to shout out the right chords. I played the right one, I just shouted out the wrong one. Here we go. 3, back to the A minor, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, to an F, to a C, 2, 3, quick B minor, back to A minor, 2, 3, 4, to a C, 2, 3, to a D, to a G, 2, to an F. Now we'll do the second ending. We just stay on a C for 3 for a whole measure. And then that's going to take us back to the verse of the song, all right? So the song is pretty simple in the sense of the form. We go like this. It goes intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, verse 3, chorus. And we go back to the verse, but it's an instrumental. It's kind of like a solo, but we only play it through one time. We don't do the repeat on that. Then we go through the chorus, and then finally the ending. Okay, so and I'll maybe put that in the information below, so you can see the song form. All right, so let's go. We still have one more section, which is that bridge starting on an F chord. Okay, so when you listen to the song, it's going to sound like he's using this guy right here, which based off the tuning, that's what it's going to turn into here. So you can use this. This is one I didn't include in the chord shapes here, but this can be a useful chord to know. It's really technically what's happening is it's what we call an F chord, which is this. I know it looks like a D chord, but when you slide it up to here, it becomes an F chord. But what's happening in what we call the bass part of the song is the C. So it's technically an F with a C in the bass. And the way they write that is an F/C. But I'm kind of keeping it simple. We're just going to play an F through that to a C for that section. But just so you know, if you're feeling like this is pretty easy for you, try to throw in this one going into a C. So using that F to that C right there. Just FYI, we're going to use this one like I said. So here we go. Starting the bridge, get that F chord for me 4 times per chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 to a C. 1, 2, 3, 4 back to F. 1, 2, 3, 4 to a C. 1, 2, 3, 4 back to an F. We're just going to work those 2 chords. 2, 3, 4, and to a C. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4 to a C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we also have these endings here. We have a first and second ending. The second ending is basically we go to the C just like we did on the first ending, except we add that D on beat 4. So we go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to be playing that G sus4. So we want to use this shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next measure, we can just keep this chord going. 2, 3, 4. So pretty simple. So that's the bridge. All right, so let's try something. You guys are going to play along with me. What we're going to do, we're going to play through that whole page, okay? And we're going to do the intro. We're going to do all the repeats. So this is how it's going to go. It's going to go, we're going to do the intro, and then we'll do the verse. So we'll do both endings of the verse, and then we'll do the chorus. We'll do both endings of the chorus, and then we'll just go right into the bridge. I know this is not the form of the song, but we're going to just work on this and getting the chord changes, and you're going to play along with me. So if you get lost or something like that, just kind of look up at my screen or look up at your screen and see where I'm at, and I may even shout out where we are if in case you get lost, okay? So like maybe pause it here, refresh those chords, take a look at the page, and let's go through this, starting on the intro. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the repeat. G now. 3, 4 to B minor. 2, 3, 4 G. 2, second ending. 1, 2, 3, and the chorus, and 1, 2, and 3, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and a quick B minor, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Second ending, and 2. We're going to go right into the bridge, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 2. Repeat that. Back to F. 4, and second ending. 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1. All right, so how did you do? Make it through it? Now, I would rewind that and do that a couple of times. That's a really good way to kind of work with the fingers. That's kind of a slow tempo. So if it was a complete train wreck, then go back and relearn some of those chords, work on the shapes, work on the movements between those chords, and you'll eventually start to get the strength and the movement, but try to follow along with what I just did. And even if you make a few mistakes there, a good lesson is to learn how to keep it going and keep following along and not lose your place. All right, I'm sure you did fine. And that was the simple version of Wild Horse.
Thanks for watching part 1. Be sure to check out part 2, where we get into the detailed strumming parts of this song. All right, see you guys in the next video.